Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We made it. Even more than last year, I think, this holiday season has been a real obstacle course. Seems like a mere 6 weeks ago, many of us were making plans to travel, to see family, have gatherings, and finally experience whatever passes for a normal Christmas in our lives once more. But no, Omicron had to show up and spoil it. So now it's canceled flights, emptier stores, online-only worship services, way more people catching COVID, some we actually even know this time. And the return of that unease and anxiety we thought we'd left behind for good with the Delta variant and pre-vaccination days. Many of us, of course, are fed up. And some of us just refuse to go back there mentally. A good friend of mine who is immunocompromised told me this morning, I refuse to change even one little bit of my Christmas plans for this. I'm already careful, and I need some holiday cheer. Here at St. Luke's, we canceled our 4 p.m. Children's Christmas Eve service. Then I felt terrible when I saw that other churches were still having theirs. Then I felt better when I heard that some places, including the National Cathedral, had canceled all in-person worship. Back and forth, yo-yoing. In the meantime, we've had to rejigger our lineup of church volunteers a few times for this weekend due to illness, though not necessarily COVID-related. It is exhausting. I imagine some of you are also feeling worn out, angry, or frustrated. Bah humbug to this Christmas. But here's the thing. Has your Christmas ever really been ideal? Didn't something go wrong at least a little bit every time? The uninvited guest, the 10-hour layover, the burned side dish, the stolen packages from your doorstep, the blowhard uncle with abrasive politics, the know-it-all cousin come back from college, the Christmas spent alone and feeling forgotten. There's always something, it seems, to make you long for January 2nd to come ASAP. And okay, maybe these are small things, nothing like a pandemic, apples and oranges. But the point is, no matter what has gone wrong with your plans or your life, the true meaning of Christmas lies in how you meet the challenges and find ways to rejoice regardless. The Who's of Whoville had all their gifts stolen by the Grinch, yet they stepped out of their homes on Christmas Day and sang Vahu Dore anyway. Mary and Joseph didn't plan to have their baby born in an animal's food trough far from home, but they made the most of it. And lo and behold, shepherds came to cheer them up. Cows and sheep surrounded them for warmth, and sages brought them precious gifts. Now, your Christmases may not turn out that well. Yet, if you loosen your expectations and leave your heart open, God will show up. But you won't notice the arrival of the divine if you're busy harping on all that's gone wrong. In the midst of all the work that had to be done to prepare for our Christmas services, I took a break this morning and went through some of the accumulated mail on our dining room table at home. There were a few Christmas cards, a bunch of letters appealing for money for this or that cause, and the latest newsletter from St. Gregory's Abbey in Three Rivers, Michigan. Now, I don't even know how I got on their mailing list, but every time I get it, I try to give their little booklet a quick perusal before recycling it, because it seems mean not to. After all, I used to write newsletter articles too, and I'd hate to think no one read them. So I'm looking through this newsletter, and a paragraph from Prior Aylred caught my eye. Here's what he wrote. Richard Rohr said, God comes to us disguised as our life. He says that our willingness to find God in our own struggle with life and to let it change us is our deepest and truest obedience to God's eternal will. Rohr went on to say, we are always the stable into which the Christ is born anew. All we really need to do is keep our stable honest and humble, and the Christ will surely be born. That's what I'm talking about. To remain open and grateful, even after 21 months of pandemic, is to birth Christ anew into this world. Of course, the baby Jesus is there and all the happy stuff too. But we feel his presence more deeply when times are hard. That's why I kind of hate all those Hallmark Christmas specials. They're too fluffy. Any suffering that the characters have usually boils down to, will he or won't he love me? Now, I must admit, William and I did watch one this year. Single All the Way. About a gay man who talks his best friend into going back to his small hometown with him for Christmas, where the family all knows that this best friend is the guy's real and true love, if only he could see it. It was fun, I suppose, and it all ended well, of course. But it made me miss George Bailey on that bridge in the snowstorm, preparing to jump and end his life in It's a Wonderful Life. It made me miss the look on the little drummer boy's face as he poured out his hatred for mankind and his grief over losing his parents into the drum he was parum-pa-pum-pumming for baby Jesus. The Christmas specials that really matter are the ones where the joy is hard won. And maybe the Christmases that really are special are those when adversity derails our plans yet does not deter us from rejoicing in God's love anyway. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who lived in a land of deep darkness, on them light has shined. So says Isaiah in our first reading tonight. What you do with that light in this darkness, how you let it be born and then shine through your heart, will make all the difference in the new year. Pi, rho, or sigma variance notwithstanding. William, my far better half, emailed me a short note yesterday that said, how incredibly simple the message, that God loves us each so deeply as to come among us humble, vulnerable, in full self-giving, the model of how we are to be for and with one another. And Margaret Randall, the American writer, insists in these heartless times that justice can only be measured by inclusiveness, never by being exclusive. The most any of us can do right now is engage in acts of kindness, see the people around us, and make them feel they are seen. The powers dragging our planet down count on us all feeling like meaningless pawns, powerless and resigned. Each of us has an obligation to not be that, to the fullest of our abilities. A kind word, a helping hand, a breath of clean air, a poem, a delicious meal, a sliver of protection, a bit of quiet, some knowledge, some peace. Probably my favorite secular Christmas song is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, from the movie Meet Me in St. Louis, starring Judy Garland. At least 3 versions of the song exist. The one in the movie is my favorite because it touches on loss and separation, something I think we're all feeling these days. There's a line that goes, someday soon we all will be together if the fates allow. Until then, we'll have to muddle through somehow. So have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Like those Hallmark specials, these lyrics were later flattened to make for a more cheerful message. Someday soon we all will be together if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now. So fake. Plastic. But what you may not know is that the very first lyrics written were so depressing that even Judy Garland refused to sing it. And here they are. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. It may be your last. Next year, we may all be living in the past. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Pop that champagne cork. Next year, we may all be living in New York. No good times like the olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who were dear to us will be near to us no more. But at least we all will be together, if the Lord allows. From now on, we'll have to muddle through somehow. So have yourself a merry little Christmas now. May you have yourself a merry little Christmas that's just tough enough to make you grateful for how good you have had it in past years and compared to other people. And may whatever struggles this year brings transform you into a kinder and more loving child of God. Merry Christmas.